Hey all, how you doing? It's Saturday night, it's after 9 o'clock at night, and I'm still at the office. Why am I still at the office this late on a Saturday night? Because I've been here all day and I've been doing recordings of summaries of lectures that I'm going to give during the week. And of course, four times one of those recordings failed, and I've had other technical issues today as well. So here it is, 9 o'clock, and I'm just finishing up. But I did actually get through it. That's me. I don't give up. Uh, so let me tell you about the last 2 weeks. Last, uh, I spent the week in France last week. I travelled to Lyon, um, which was fabulous, and I got to meet many of my colleagues. Effectively, though, I actually went there for what other business schools would understand as a departmental meeting. Now, Schema Business School isn't structured as departments, but yeah, other academics will get a bit of a giggle of somebody traveling to a different country for a departmental meeting. Anyway, it had to be done, and it definitely served a purpose. Those personal relationships that are formed in a face-to-face meeting, this just not the same with virtual meetings. I mean, I've been talking to these people for a few months now, and I feel like that they know me and I know them at a different level than what was the case previously. And now we'll be able to carry on our relationships as we go forward with that personal connection. So that's worth the investment for Schema Business School. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone to the expense of shipping me over there. While after the 2 days that I spent in Lyon, then I had 3 days in Paris. So I got to visit the Paris campus and I got to participate in the launch of the 2025 Schema Business School Strategic Plan. So yeah, that's important. And then I had various other meetings again, establishing that personal connection with the people that I'm communicating with here from the US. Um, uh, but I had a bit of a issue while I was in France, and that was to do with a cultural issue between French education systems and American education systems. In America and Australia, it's quite normal for a professor to prescribe a textbook for a course. It's actually unusual for me, but this semester I've got bigger classes, and so I prescribed a textbook for each of the two classes that I've got responsibility for this semester. And for the strategy course, I added a business simulation. Well, turns out that's not um, policy, and it seems that I was given contrary advice in the fall semester. So, yeah, it turned into a political storm. So, when I got back to the US this week, the first 3 days I was teaching, I was dealing with explaining the change that I had to make to accommodate to the students. And what I did was basically dropped the textbooks as a requirement. I'm still giving students the PowerPoint summaries that I'm using to present the lectures, but by dropping the textbook as a requirement and then for making it optional rather than required, the students are not actually needing to buy the textbook. They can access it through the library. I've put copies in the Hunt Library, hard copies, and I have provided a digital copy through the Case Centre, which is basically the online library for Schema Business School. And so, yeah, that was fun. The first 3 days I was back, and that meant that Thursday is when I had the catch-up day for basically 2 weeks of work. And so, yeah, that wasn't fun, but Friday, I got to do something that is very exciting. I was out doing field work. I mean, it's still set up, it's still in the setup processes. I'm working with a local organisation for my food consumption research, addressing the question of American food consumption and the conceptions of good food. And yeah, so that should be in full swing, maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. But because of the demands of the last 2 weeks, here it is, Saturday night after 9 o'clock, and I'm still at the office. And tomorrow I'll be back in the office again doing prep work for the upcoming week. So this coming week I'll be more on top of it, and that's why being in the office in Saturday and Sunday may well seem like a sacrifice to you, but for me, in managing this job as a professor, it's actually stress relieving. And there'll be other weekends when I get to have some me time. It's just not this weekend. Anyway, there you go. That's the last 2 weeks. I tell you, January was tough. I'm pleased to say goodbye to January. February, bring it on. Right, let's go.